How we doing, everybody? Welcome back to Captain Cobras Cajun Cooking. Let me tell you, I got a fantastic show lined up for y'all today, and I have a very honored guest that I have cooking with me today. This is Mr. Johnnie Allen.
Correct.
And for those of y'all who don't know Mr. Johnnie Allen, he's been a staple, he's been a legend over here in South Louisiana for many years.
I still am, I think.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right, absolutely. Listen, he's been singing Cajun music, swamp pop music, just about everything.
70 years.
70 years, that's right, that's awesome, right? So, he cooks a spicy turkey neck jambalaya. And when I heard that, I said, oh no, I gotta learn this. I gotta learn how we do this. When I find special recipes like that, I try to get them on here and I try to get it done. So stay tuned. We got a fantastic show lined up for you with a fantastic guest. Okay, what we have right here is all the ingredients we're gonna need to make our spicy turkey neck jambalaya, okay? And the first thing we wanna start off with is our turkey necks. And Johnnie Allen told me that he does not like to use smoked turkey neck. No smoked turkey necks, just a regular turkey neck. We're not gonna use the smoke, okay? We have some McCormick turkey gravy, onions, bell peppers, fresh garlic, and Rotel tomatoes, and the hot Rotel tomato, that's right, and a little bit of canola oil, okay? And one thing that was not on the list that he told me to get, but I just had to add it in there because, you know, Captain Cobra got to put his own spin on things while we're doing stuff, is I got a little bit of turkey tasso.
That will hit the spot.
That'll
doubly hit the spot.
I figured it would be fantastic. So here we go. We're about to kick things off right here. The man's already cooking. I like it. I like to see it.
We put enough cooking oil just to cover the bottom of the pot. All right, what I like to do is just to kind of sample every once in a while to see if the grease is hot enough. Apparently it's not hot enough right now.
It's not hot, that's right, it's not hot.
So we'll let it get warm up a little bit more. You don't want to put it in there when the grease is cold. So
that's right. All right, let me put you back.
Put that on hold for right now. The grease has started popping, so it's time to put in the turkey necks. You don't want to let it get too hot. So, as you can see,
it's kind of popping up pretty good there. All right, let me get you some more.
You got to kind of stand back sometimes from the pot.
Get the popping.
I never heard of a Cajun dying of
grease popping on them?
Grease popping on them, no.
No, me neither. In fact, that makes it better. I've got a little fat to go with that. I like that, yeah.
All right, that should be enough for the first round of, all right. There we go, it's starting to brown a little already. Now you gotta let that brown for quite a while. Not burn it now, but brown it. There we go.
All right, everybody, while he's browning that up, I'm gonna go ahead and get these onions cut up, bell peppers cut up, garlic get ready to go, and get our tasso cut up, all right? Mr. Gia.
Yes, sir.
Where you come up with the turkey neck jambalaya recipe? Is that an old recipe?
No, it's not. I don't know if somebody else has a recipe, but I kind of created my own recipe. You know, when my wife passed away a little over 9 years ago, I was still getting hungry. You know, So
You gotta eat, right?
I had to eat. So I had learned a little from her. Plus, I have a camp at Miller's Lake, north of Bill Flatten. I experiment a lot, cooking different things like that.
That's right.
Squirrel. I can make a gumbo with squirrel. I can cook you a good turkey. A squirrel gravy. And those sort of things, And I just got interested in cooking.
Listen, I think that's kind of how it happened a long time ago when the Cajuns first got here. They took what we had and made it their own and did the things that they do, and I think that's why food's so fantastic today. I think we're second to none. I know you've been around the world a lot, singing and touring, and I've been around the world through the Navy. And listen, again, pound for pound, nobody can touch us.
Well, there are two things that South Louisiana has to offer the world, and we're offering a lot of it, and that's food and the Cajun music.
That's right. And the culture, they love that over here.
Right. When my first song that went to gold came out in England in 1971, Promised Land was released in England and all over Europe. But all of a sudden, my buddy Elvis Presley comes out with his own record company put out his version of Promised Land, and mine went in the trash can. Well, back in 1978, Elvis was sadly gone at that time. They decided to re-release the song again, and this time it made it. It made it through the choice. So,
listen, I don't know if y'all know, but these like the Elvis Presley of England. He could probably sing every night in England if he wanted to.
I toured quite a bit in England. Right. Not only England, I toured probably about 10 or 12 countries in Europe.
Really?
I have been to every European country. Not necessarily touring, but
visiting and
sightseeing. When I'd have 2 or 3 days off from a tour, I like to go see, which is what I did when I went to Hungary. I went to Poland. I had always been a school teacher, a former school teacher. I was always amazed at the concentration camps in Europe. And I got to go see the concentration camp in Auschwitz, Poland.
I'm sure that's humbling.
That was one of the main ones. I was very humble, extremely.
Well, let me ask you this. Did you cook turkey neck jambalaya?
No, I didn't. Fact is, most of the time they had their own. When we got together after a tour or something, they had their own cooks, and of course Harry Simino, who was my sax player, toured with me a lot. And we were the judges. Does this food qualify as Cajun food? And most of the time, they were pretty close to it.
Yeah. That's why we're doing this, so we can let everybody in the world know how to cook Cajun food.
Right, correct. Turkey necks now are just about as brown as I like to get them. I don't want to burn them. So I'm taking them out, and we're going to replenish, finish browning the other. As soon as my assistant...
My sushi chef is slipping right here. We reminisce. All right, let me dust this up with a little Captain Colby's Cajun seasoning right here.
I heard you using that word, dust. I like that. You know, Colby, Captain Colby, that is.
That's it.
The Cajuns, when they first settled over here, learned a lot of the ingredients that they use in seasoning, and a lot of the food basically came from Indians that taught them.
Really?
A lot of the Cajuns, yes.
I did not know that.
Not every Cajun recipe, but a lot of it we learned from the Indians.
Well, I know that when the Cajuns came over here and they settled here, they got along well with the Indians. They did a lot of...
Exactly. They got along well with the Indians in Canada, the Micmac Indians.
That's right.
Well, look at the Pilgrims. Who did they learn from?
That's right.
Yeah, they survived.
They cooked turkey? They cooked turkey with the Indians.
Oh, that's right. That's right. All right, now we're going to put the onions, garlic, and the bell pepper.
All right, we got it all browned up in there. We'll go ahead and throw this in there.
The meat is all browned up.
And since we've been storytelling, Captain Colby's falling behind, sous chef's falling behind today. I'm gonna get caught up for you right quick. Right.
Well, you know, you mentioned something a while ago about school. I started teaching school in 1961 at Alice Boucher on Willow Street here in Lafayette.
Okay.
I had just started teaching when I got called in. I was a member of the National Guard, 3628 Ordnance Company here in Lafayette.
All right.
We got called in during the Berlin crisis and stayed there in Oklahoma for about a year. Came back, and then in about 1967, I think, I transferred over to Acadian Elementary as assistant principal.
Well, for those of y'all out there who don't know,
Here it comes, folks.
Mr. Guillot, you always hear me say Mr. Guillot. Everybody calls him Johnnie Allen. I call him Mr. Guillot. Mr. Guillot was my principal at Acadian Middle School. And let me tell y'all something. I was canai, as they would say, as we say over here, and I got in trouble quite a bit. And what was really bad for me is when Mr. Guillot he was the principal, and I got in trouble. Back in them days, you still got a paddling, right? You still got a spanking if you got in trouble. So I got a spanking by Mr. Guillot, and we lived by the bayou, and they had a little bar right on the corner of the bridge called the Bayou Bar, and he was sitting there. So not only did I get in trouble at school, when I went to school, I got a paddling and a whipping at school. My daddy would stop in from work and drink at the Bayou Bar, and Mr. Guillot would say, "Hey, you know, I whipped your son's ass today. He was cutting up in class." So what I get another whipping when I get home. So I got 2 whippings all the time. So you think that might keep me on the straight and narrow?
Well, the solution to that is stop your daddy from going to
I know, right? That was my main goal anyway. All right, Mr. Guillot, while I'm finishing up this garlic right here,
And while I'm stirring up the
and while you stirring up the rest of that in there,
bell pepper and garlic.
are you still playing music?
Not since the pandemic hit us.
I got you.
I played in the last 2 years. I've 2 appearances. That's it. But I was working pretty regular before that. I actually started playing music at the ripe old age of 13
13, really?
with Walter Mouton and the Scott Playboys.
Wow. He's
Our
still
first-
playing music too?
Yeah. Yes, he had, as a matter of fact, yes, he still is every once in a while. I mean, since the pandemic, not that much, naturally. I'll never forget, Kobe, that first gig we did. It was at the Colonial Club in Esterwood. And there was me and Lyman Préjean played the rhythm guitar. Rodney Miller was playing the fiddle, and Walter Mouton was playing the accordion. We didn't have drums or bass player, nothing like that. We would holler so much, so many, hey, hey. The club owner comes up to the bandstand. He said, "Listen, people are enjoying your music, but could you hold down the A's?" Anyway, I stayed with the Scott Playboys up until about 1954, and then I got the opportunity to go play steel guitar with Lawrence Walker and the Wandering Aces. And Lawrence Walker was one of the top Cajun
At the time, yeah.
Cajun musicians at that time.
Sure.
And I played with them until about I would say the latter part of 1957 or the beginning of 1958. That's when rock and roll music was coming
Taking over, huh?
into fashion. It was flowing down the Cajun bayous of Louisiana. So I could see the handwriting on the wall as far as music was concerned. Cajun music was not, it was losing in popularity.
Right.
I mean, the younger kids were just going gaga over
The rock and roll.
Fats Domino, Chuck Berry, etc., etc. And so we decided, Lawrence's band, the whole band decided one night. Lawrence kind of got hacked off at us because we were playing a couple of gigs on the side
With the rock and roll.
playing rock and roll, and he didn't like that. So UJ Mo, the fiddle player, switched the keyboard. He told us, he said, well, if you don't like that, we'll all quit. So we all quit and formed a band. And of course, we had, I mean, in those days, you almost had to have a record out for it, for you to get good gigs. So one night we had a little meeting, and they all said, look, we need to record something, put a song out. And they all turned and looked at me and said, why don't you try writing a song? So I did. I wrote Lonely Days and Lonely Nights, and the other side was My Baby's Gone. But Lonely Days and Lonely Nights, the next thing I knew, was on MGM Records. It was making good noise around here, along the Gulf Coast, from Florida to Texas. It was getting played quite a bit. So that got us some gigs, and as time went on, we added musicians, changed musicians in different instruments. Like the drum player just wasn't cutting it. He was more geared to playing
slower a little bit.
Yeah, kind of or country music or the big band sound. And that's not the type of drumming that I liked. So this guy Austin Broussard came into the picture, and he became my regular drummer and recorded, I would say, probably 3/4 of my recording sessions with me. Very good drummer. And I guess you can say the rest.
Rest is history.
Kind of history, yeah. As you can see, I'm browning the onions, garlic, and bell pepper. And Captain Colby added some tasso.
Tasso.
Pieces of tasso, which is not, I've never cooked this before, but it smells good.
Don't it bring it out?
It smells good, so I think I will, the next time I will add this to my recipe.
And that's some turkey tasso.
Turkey tasso.
Turkey tasso.
Turkey all the way.
Yes, sir.
And since it's close to Christmas, and we just passed Thanksgiving, excuse me, turkey is
It's a Christmas meal as well.
It's the food for Christmas and Thanksgiving. All right. This is about browned enough. We're fixing to put the turkey gravy mix in here.
All right. Let's get that prepped up and set up, ready to go.
This is a turkey gravy mix, and I'm putting 4 packs of it. You just add water to it, stir it, and stir it. Keep stirring until it all mixes.
This is in there well, huh?
And it mixes well.
Let me cut that for you.
All right.
I help you out there. Can't have you doing all the work on my show.
I'll just take your salary.
Yeah, I know, right? All right.
One more.
One more.
All right.
Got it.
Now we'll go mix it with water. Yeah. And I need another burner lit up.
Let the burner lit up.
Yeah. I like to use a little whisk broom to stir this up.
All right. We're going to get it heated up a little bit.
That's it. This is the turkey gravy mix. And we're putting 5 packs in there, just for good measure.
5 packs?
Just for good measure.
Okay.
All right. We'll heat that up. And when it starts bubbling, I'll put it in here.
Let me get some of this. Some of them green meat out of there. I'll get you going. All right, I like it.
And
We're going to taste it.
we're going to taste it. There we go. We're adding the
Rotel.
Rotel hot.
All right.
And since this is for more than 2 people, like my recipe calls for, we're going to put maybe another half can.
Okay.
'Cause I don't want it to get too
hot?
too spicy. I like it spicy.
I like it spicy. Captain Colby likes it spicy. We'll make it up. We'll make it happen.
Captain Colby likes it.
Likes it pepper. Let's do it. Let's do it.
That's okay.
Good enough?
Oh yeah, that should do.
Say it.
And as Paul Prudhomme would say, look hot. pretty this looks.
Pretty that is, huh? All right, listen, while he's stirring, I want to recap a couple things. I know people say I don't tell what we do. So listen, we use 4 onions, 2 large bell peppers, 2 cloves of garlic, and 1 pound of tasso on top of 3 pounds of turkey necks is what we use all together. But I didn't say how much onions and bell peppers we use, so I want everybody to know that, how much we put out there. And we're gonna try to put that down at the bottom for y'all to know when we get it all said and done.
Now you see how this is thickening?
Yeah, I like that.
Huh? That's what I say. You keep stirring it with this right here.
Okay.
It thickens.
Well, let me take care of that.
Okay.
I'll take care of the gravy. And you're gonna take care of the jambalaya.
See?
Oh yeah, we're
Okay,
looking
good. That's about done.
You ready?
Yep. Once this turkey gravy starts to thicken up,
Hey, let me tell y'all a secret.
stirring it.
Don't go over the open fire when you do that. It's gonna burn. Let me get that in there.
Folks, we're not responsible for any action that's going to happen. You see how thick that gravy is?
Yeah. Listen, I love new recipes like this. This is fantastic. I love it.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna hand over the spoon
All right.
to you.
There we go. And I'm going to repeat the words of Paul Prudhomme. Isn't that pretty?
That's beautiful.
Beautiful.
It looks fantastic.
Ready to put the turkey necks.
All right, let's get
in.
it back in there. And everybody knows Captain Colby. I like all the grease in the pot. Let me get a little bit of that in there. Bring all that flavor in there for you. All right.
Muy bueno. Now we can sit back and tell Cajun stories.
All right, I like it.
Because now it's just a matter of the necks.
Gotta cook together. Gotta come together.
It takes an hour and a half to 2 hours, if I remember right, before they're edible. You know, before they're
Yeah, those turkey necks gotta cook down. You want to
Yeah,
add a little more
cook
water
down.
to that? I see you a little thick. You good with that now? You
No,
wanna
that's
add-
good.
Okay.
This is good like
All
this
right.
here. Yeah. I don't want to get it too thin. I want to keep it at about that thickness.
All right. We'll keep our eye on it.
Good deal.
Well, listen, we already know that you were an educator. We know that you were in the service. And we know you're a singer, but a lot of people don't know that you're an author. That you wrote a few books, right? You're a man of many talents, Mr. Giada, I'm here to tell you.
Actually, 4 books. Now-
Okay,
Now,
I'll stand corrected.
now I'm going to start bragging.
There you go, let's go, come with it.
The first book that I attempted to do was called Memories, A Pictorial History of South Louisiana Music.
Okay.
But it encompasses also East Texas because there are so many Cajuns
Yes, okay, that's absolutely
in
right.
East Texas around the Port Arthur, Orange,
yeah.
and into Beaumont area. So I felt like I needed to include them in there. It took me about 8 years to do that because I had to go from house to house to get the pictures. A lot of people, I guess they were scared of that I might lose the pictures, you know.
And
So
they don't
I
want
had
to
to
lose
bring,
their memories, yeah.
right, I had to bring my camera equipment with me on a lot of these, excuse me, on a lot of these trips for that simple reason. People didn't trust mailing it to me, and I can't blame them. But you know, the good Lord was with me. I think it's like around 2,500 pictures
Really? Wow.
that I've accumulated. I never lost one. Never lost one.
Well, there you go.
And so I put this book out, I think around 1988 or 89. I don't have a copy with me right here, so I'll tell you exact year. And it was printed in South Korea. I really, really liked the job they did over there.
Okay.
So
You didn't want
all
to put a Dixie
enthused-
printing over there on the...
no. all enthused, you know, with the success of it, and it's sold real well. I mean, it's sold worldwide. I've had people coming to Lafayette sometimes for the festivals. One year, Warren Storm and Tommy McLean were playing at a lounge here in Lafayette, and Warren calls me up, and I was in bed already. It was about 10 o'clock at night. Man, they got a bunch of Japanese guys over here. They all have about 20 of them, and they all have a copy of your book, and they want you to come sign it. So, being the good Samaritan that I am, I got out of bed.
Hey, listen, that's what Cajuns do, right?
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
Went out there and autographed it, and I think the word spread around in Japan because since then we've had a lot of these people over here. One of them became very good friends. A little musician from Japan. He comes here. Well, he did come here before the pandemic, just about every year for the festivals. Anyway, in Europe it's sold immensely good.
Okay.
And I finally ran out of copies of the book, so I decided to do a volume 1 and 2 combined. Plus I added some more photos and information on each one of the artists. It was printed, I'm not going to name the company that printed it because here in the United States, and I was totally disappointed in the second. It was called Volume 1 and 2 combined, but the quality just was not what the first one was, the one that was printed in South Korea. No. So that's 2 books. This is flavoring and browning sauce that I use if I want to add a little color to the gravy. And I just play that by. I don't measure that one. I got you. Put it in, do like Captain Colbert's doing, stir it, and there's your color.
Now you can see a little bit of brownness. It's hard to get some really dark brown gravy with turkey neck, anything turkey really. So there you go.
All right, so here's a sample of the turkey. It's cooked.
Yeah.
The gravy looks good.
Fantastic.
So now we're going to put the rice in. Instead of putting rice in a pot, in a plate, what you do is you put all of the rice in here.
There you go. So listen, when you make jambalaya, there's a couple ways you can make it. Number one, you can cook it, rice on the side, dump it in here, and let it do what it needs to do. Or you can put it in raw and let it suck that juice up that way. Or you can use like a parboiled rice or a minute rice where it kind of cooks it fast and it'll suck up all that juice too. So there's a couple of different ways that you can do that. And this is the absolute fastest way to get that done.
Now, what was the Cajun word of the day?
We're gonna have a Cajun word of the day.
Demain?
Demain. And what demain means in French means tomorrow.
Or 2 hands.
Or demain.
Two hands.
So Cajun word of the day is
Demain.
That's right. I like it. All right.
All
Now
right.
we got that all mixed up. I think we're gonna put the lid on this, let that rice soak up some of that juice a little bit. We're gonna eat in a few minutes and let you know how it tastes, right? All right. We'll put our lid on this and let that kind of suck that juice up in there a little bit.
And I guess you think you're the only captain around here.
Well, I am the only captain at
No,
this station.
no, wrong. I'm
Oh.
captain also. Just call me Captain Johnny.
Captain Johnny, I like it. Captain Johnny, what you the captain of?
Actually, I'm captain of the Neighborhood Watch Association.
Hey, you gotta have a neighborhood watch program, right?
Right.
I like it, I love it. Good job.
Hot.
Got it?
Good and hot.
Cut your edges, pull your wings,
First time trying it. We'll see what it's all about.
Oh, hell, get no.
Well,
Fantastic.
fantastic.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal. That's what I'm talking about. Hey,
Phenomenal.
that's right. Hey, listen. This is really great. The first time I ever had it. It is fantastic. You really, truly need to try this. You want to supplement this for a Thanksgiving meal, a holiday meal. Fantastic meal. We loved it. I'd like to thank everybody for helping me today. I'd like to thank Ray Landry for doing absolutely nothing. And I really want to thank Mr. Johnnie Allen for coming today. We had a fantastic time. We told some stories. I wish we could have filmed all of them.
No, we might have gone.
Yeah, we would have been a lot longer than that. But we had a fantastic time, and I think we have a great show. So thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll see y'all in the kitchen.